What's happening, y'all? Showman Flex back at it again with another episode of the Flex Files, man. Let's talk about it. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Happy Monday to everybody. The Tyrones and the Chads. Let's talk about it, man. What do these things, or what do these archetypes have in common, right? The Tyrone and the Chads, and how do you become one, right? What traits do you have to be considered a Tyrone and a Chad? Before we get into it, make sure to click that subscribe button below so that way you know when I post new content for y'all. And shout out to all the subscribers. Thank y'all so much for joining this channel. I got all love for y'all, nothing but love for y'all. Thank y'all so much. Look, man, the Tyrone and Chad, let me say this. The thing about them are that they are very confident. Tyrone and Chad are very confident individuals, man. Like, just straight up, you know. And oftentimes they don't care about rejection. You know, they don't care about rejection. They don't let that shit bother them. You know what I'm saying? They don't allow it to bother them in the sense that, you know, hey, damn, I guess I ain't that dude for real. Nah, they ain't losing sleep. They not losing sleep over being rejected by women like other dudes do. You know what I'm saying? That's how much confidence they have, you know. Cause yeah, let's be for real, the Chad and Tyrone, I will say it is a genetic thing to a degree. Like, they're genetically blessed when it comes to looks. I will say that, right? But they also have the confidence and the charisma and the aura to match, right? You know, these are guys that, you know, they are so confident because they have the abundance mindset, right? And I've talked about the abundance mindset a number of times, right, with y'all. But they have the abundance mindset to, like, look, they get rejected, they keep it they keep it moving, they keep it pushing. They're not about to lose sleep over that. You know, they're not about to, these are not guys that are going to lose sleep over being rejected by said women. You know, they don't care about that, right? They'll move on, pick up the pieces, keep it moving, keep it pushing. You know, somebody else gonna find them attractive. They know that, right? And oftentimes, other women do. You know, they carry that aura about them that they get women, they get play. And I've said this before, women like dudes that look like they get women. You know, this dude doesn't come off as desperate. When you don't get women, you oftentimes you're gonna be desperate. You're gonna play the part of a desperate guy. And women, they don't like a desperate man because it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of low sexual market value. You know, Chads and Tyrones have a high sexual market value. They just look like they get women. It's more than them just looking good to women, but it's also a persona, a presence, an aura that they have, that they exude. You know, these dudes can walk into a room. They can walk into any room. They can walk into any room and get play. Or they can walk into a room and I'll say they just exude a certain type of aura about them that women find attractive. You know, they can walk into a gym, a bar, a club, whatever, and they look like they that dude. You know, they look like they him. You know, whether they a white dude, which is the Chad, or a black dude, and they Tyrone. They look like they can get women, and they, like, everybody is looking at them as soon as they walk in. It's like they're an A-list celebrity. You know, it's like they're an A-list celebrity in a sense. And that's how people kind of perceive them. That's how people see them in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the vibe that a Chad and a Tyrone have, right? And you kind of can't teach that. these are things that you develop over time, you know, because like I said again, it's not so much about how they look, right? It's about how other people perceive them to be. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Right? And you can look at it when you see, if you see a Chad or Tyrone in person, and if you see him at the gym or something like that, just see how they carry themselves. Like see how they move, how they walk, how they talk to women, how women look at them. They look at them like they're an A-list celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Or in the workplace. You definitely can see it in the workplace. You see women throwing themselves at them and women choosing them. I mean, you can see it on social media. You see them on social media. You see women glazing them. That's a term that the younger generation like to use, glazing. You can see these women glazing them. Right? These women are choosing them all the time. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a shortage of getting women like that. They always gonna have, you know, a group of women choosing them, man. You know, I'm getting a little too, I ain't gonna say I'm getting too old, but I be on my chill shit now, bro. I just do, man. I don't really be doing a lot no more, man. You know, if it fall on my lap, it fall on my lap. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, you know, I kind of been real focused lately. You feel me? But yeah, that's the vibe that a lot of Chads and Tyrones, you know, they have, right? And the abundance mindset is a big one though, because a lot of time, I'm gonna tell you, man, you know, Chads and Tyrones, it's not so much that women, they don't have to approach women, because a lot of times they still do approach women. Chads and Tyrones, they still very much so approach women. You know, it's just that they don't care if they get rejected. They don't care about getting rejected, man. That's the number one quality that Chads and Tyrones have, is that if they get rejected, man, it's not the end of the world to them. They don't care. They don't care because they do get other women, so it's like whatever. But the abundance mindset in life really is what makes or breaks a man, and you know, that's what separates the Chad and Tyrones from everybody else. You know, that's what separates the Chad and Tyrones from the Gerald, the Steves and the Gerald, or the Kevins and the Geralds. The Kevin being a white dude, don't really get no play, and the Gerald being a black dude, don't really get no play. Right? Like, they just don't really care, man. They're not about to, you know, they're not about to cry their eyes out for a whole month or two and go into a depressed state for a month or two because they're not getting play from a woman. Like Chad and Tyrone, they're not doing that. Kevin and the Gerald, yeah, they doing that shit. Like they doing that because it's like, bruh, it's like, who, you know, at the end of the day, who really give a fuck? You know, like I've always said, you know, women are the choosers, y'all. And that don't necessarily mean that the only way a woman chooses is if they go up to a dude, but no, like, shows high interest, even after the fact of the dude approaching a woman. If she if she shows high interest in him, okay, that means she choosing him. So you still have to approach. You know, I know we in a generation where men don't want to approach no more, but look, man, even if you're a really good looking dude, and I've talked about this, you were alpha showpiece. You know what I'm saying? You were, and it, for people who have not seen that video, just type it in the search bar. You know, Joshua Summerfield, alpha showpiece. And I go into that whole archetype of what that man is, right? And alpha showpiece can be a Tyrone and a Chad, absolutely. But alpha showpiece, yeah, they get approached, but they still don't get approached all the time. They don't, like they not. The moral of the story is, women most time they'll approach, but you gotta be that dude. And even if you are that dude, it ain't gonna happen all the time, like every single time. They're gonna at least put themselves in your vicinity and give you a look. That's as clear as it get to at least approach. And if you really that dude and you a Chad and Tyrone, I'd say 9 times out of 10 they want you to approach, and they're going to be just as clear as day that they want you to approach. Okay? And they're going to give you deep contact, eye contact, deep conversation. And they're not going to cut you short. You just got to know, you just got to have some talk game with your shit. You got to have social skills. You got to be able to, because if you don't have no talk game with your shit, it's over. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fucked up. Because it's a reason why women say he was fine until he opened his mouth. Like, that's just what it is. Right. But yeah, that's what the Chad and Tyrone, that's what they have going for them, is that they have the abundance mindset, and they don't lose sleep over, they don't lose sleep over the fact that shorty ain't feeling them like that. Like, straight up, they're not about to lose no sleep over that. It is what it is. They have the abundance mindset. They don't care about getting rejected, man. They understand that that's a part of the game, and they love the game, man. They love the game. They get thrill of the game. Approach a shorty, okay, cool. She rejected me, all right, cool. I'm gonna go over here then. Here's what it is. Like, bruh. But one thing I will say about Chad and Tyrone is this. One thing I will say, and I hope you stayed until the end of this video. The one thing I will say is this. They're not desperate, though. So, although they have the abundance mindset, they're not desperate in the sense that, okay, they get rejected over here. They not immediately about to go somewhere else and try to talk to a shorty. Like, because that's something that a lot of people, I do want people to understand. Like, they're not so desperate to the point where, like, they trying to talk to every girl at the gym. They're not, it's a good balance of, it's a great balance of, like, not trying to talk to every woman in the gym, but they're very selective, and they don't strike out a lot. So they have what I would call a high, they have a high success rate, high percentage success rate. They do. Right? Let's say they shoot their shot to like 5 women at the gym. I don't even want to say a month. I may say 2 months. Out of every 2 months, they talked about 5 different women in the gym. Right? They probably get 60% success rate. They probably get, or they may get all of them. They may get all the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Shit. But they very selective. Hell, some of them, man, they really don't even, they may approach less than that. They may approach less than that for real. I'm just keeping it in a buck. Because the other ones, other times, the woman approaching them. So, but they cool with just 1 or 2. It's whatever. They probably go to multiple gyms too at that point, right? But they probably getting women outside of the gym too. So it's kind of like, you know, and a lot of times they not really trying to even talk to women in the gym, right? But they just frequent the gym so much that it's kind of like, you know, you can't really, it's inevitable. But yeah, man, that's the Chad and Tyrone. That's the traits that they have. I hope this video helps somebody. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it and you enjoyed it. It helped you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Right. Let me know what you want me to talk about in the next video. I'm always looking at the comments. Thank y'all so much for joining this channel and subscribing to this channel. We only going up from here, y'all. It's your man Flex. Till the next episode of the Flex Files. I'm out. Peace.